Well, hello. I'm Lisa, and this is my first floss tube. It is January 1st, 2026, so Happy New Year. I thought that what better way to start the new year than to be super vulnerable and put myself out on YouTube. To be honest, I have wanted to do a floss tube for a long time. I've secretly wanted to do one, but just could not put myself out there to do it. So with the encouragement of my daughter, who likes to edit videos, she is behind the camera, making sure everything runs smoothly. She will be editing my videos, so like Carrie of Red Velvet Quilts, who has her Jake, I have my page. So I thought I would start out this video by telling you a little bit about myself, how I got into cross stitching, and give you a WIP parade and some soft plans for 2026. So we live in Northern California. As of last month, I was a registered nurse working in a NICU. I decided to retire, and now the new year is going to be bringing lots of new things. So I am married, I have a teenage daughter, and that's about it. Okay, so I first learned how to cross stitch when I believe I was 11 years old, and we were on a camping trip up in Crescent City, California, and I think we went into a Ben Franklin's, and my mom bought me a cross stitch kit, a stamped cross stitch kit. I still have it. It's in one of these little wooden boxes, like a hope chest. I wanted a hope chest when I was a teenager. I don't know what I was hoping for, but I did want one. So in here is a finished project, not fully finished. It was finished in '79, so maybe I was 12. And there's lots of carries back here and knots and all good stuff. Like I said, it was a stamped cross stitch. So that was my very first cross stitch. And then I didn't cross stitch anything again that I can remember until probably after college. And that was the early 90s. And my mom and her friends were cross stitching. And so they were cross stitching these floral motifs. So I did 3 of those, and they are matted and framed. And my goal is to eventually have some shelves put up on this wall over here. This is my craft office room, and put those up. So after that, I didn't do any cross stitch. I've done some knitting, I've done some crocheting, but then I fell into scrapbooking. A cousin of mine was selling creative memories, and I bought a kit from her. I really didn't know what to do with it, but around that same time, I took a trip to Mexico, and I flew to Tennessee for my nephew's first birthday. And I had a digital camera and lots of pictures. And so I did play around with it a little bit. I still have those pages. I'm not going to change those pages. But I was at work one day, and I was talking to a fellow nurse, Donna, and you might know her as Police Mom 1 on Instagram. So she was talking about scrapbooking. We decided to go to a crop. Actually, she invited me to the crop, and a crop is like a mini retreat for scrapbookers. And there she taught me how to scrapbook more, I guess, traditionally that you see now. But I fell in love. Absolutely fell in love with it. I did that for many years. I scrapbooked tons of pictures of my nephews and just fell in love with working with paper. Then I stopped for a little while and I got married, I had my daughter, and when my daughter was about 2, I got back into paper crafting by making cards, and then started scrapbooking again, and then eventually moved into more of altered books, art journaling, the memory keeping was a little bit different, but I've always loved pictures and playing with pictures and paper and stickers. I did that for a while, and then in 2021, I completely stopped, and I just wanted to take a break. And after a few months, my hands were itching to do something, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I went into my craft drawers and I looked at knitting needles and crochet, and I came across cross stitch, and I thought, you know what, I think I might want to pick this back up again. So I was going to do another floral motif that I had a pattern for, but I really wanted to see somebody do it, so I went on YouTube, which at that time I did not watch hardly any YouTube, but I went on YouTube and found FLOSSTUBE, and the rest is history. So that brings me here today. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go through some WIPs just to kind of see where I'm at and where I'm going. So we'll start off, I made some notes, and we'll start out with my first one, which is my oldest one, and that's Halloween at Hollyberry Farm by Stacy Nash. And I started this on 36 count Pickwick by Needle and Flax. And I made a horrible error when, and I'm sorry, I didn't iron anything. So what you see is what you see. Sorry about that. I made a horrible error when I cut this piece of fabric. So, and this is nothing new, for me anyways. So I cut it by the numbers of the finished size. So I thought, well, I'll just make adjustments. It'll be okay, but I don't pull this out and work on it because I don't want to make those adjustments. So I decided that I'm going to restart this. I will finish the house and I'll turn it into a pillow or a flat finish, but I am going to restart it. And I have that in a bag by Olivia from Hillside Rookery. She has a shop on Etsy, although I don't think she's making bags as much anymore. My next WIP is Rejoice Evermore by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. My pattern is a little banged up, but I still love it. And I am doing that on 40 count antique lace, which I believe is the called for, with the called for threads. And I really wanted this to be a finish last year, 2025. I had 3 big finishes that I wanted to get done. I wanted to get done Plum Street's This Is the Day, which I did finish, and it is framed. And then the other one is Every Opening Flower by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and that is a finished. And I've ordered a frame for that, so that should be coming in soon. I'll see if Paige can insert some pictures here of those finishes. But this was the other one that I really wanted to get finished, and is the oldest one of those. As you can see, I don't have too much left to do, and I have a needle in there, which I normally don't do, but obviously I do. But by the time August rolled around, I was getting into Halloween and fall, and then Halloween, fall, and Christmas start taking over. So hopefully I'll have that finished. And this is also a bag by, Olivia of Hillside Rookery. Okay, my next one is GH 1857. Pronouncing it Atelier Sodadi, I think. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I'm just doing the main house on this. This is a 36 count tea leaves by Color and Cotton. And that's how far I've gotten. Nothing great. This is a beautiful piece of fabric. I think I got this at Keepsakes in Ohio. And that is in a bag. I think this bag is by Sheri So Sweet. She's on Etsy, and I believe she has her own website. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, next we have The 12 Days of Christmas by Annie B's Folk Art. And shamefully, I am not even halfway through. So originally I was gonna do this on black perforated paper, and I had taken another class that had perforated paper and decided that perforated paper was not for me. And then I decided that even though I love the black, black does not fit in the theme of my Christmas decor. So I really changed it up as far as the fabric, but I'm using the called for flosses, the DMC. And I was actually working on them last night. So doing some finishes, so I'll show you. These are not finished, but this is 3. And this is 4. And then I'm in the process of beading 5 and 6. So love them, want to get them done. I have 1 and 2 hanging on my tree right now, but I don't know what it is that I just can't. I think it was last year I was going to do an ornament a month. That didn't happen. But I really do think they're beautiful and I want to get them done. I'm just not good at stitching Christmas throughout the year. So that's Annie B's 12 Days of Christmas, and I have that in a bag that I got at a retreat. I love this fabric. Love this. Okay, my next WIP is Santa Stops Here by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I am using a Katie Strachan silk conversion kit. This is 37 count linen. I cannot remember the name and I did not have it written down. It comes with the kit. These are her silk conversion, and I've worked on this year. I'm also going to be doing Christmas WIP Go 2026, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is a number, this fell on a number that was called for January. So I will be doing that this month, fingers crossed. So I'm kind of jumping all over the place with that. And I have that in a bag that I don't know the maker. I love this bag. I got it from my friend Donna for my birthday. If I do another floss tube, just let me know if you want to see bags or not. I don't even know if I will continue to do this or not. My next WIP is Serenity by Teresa Kogut. And this is on 40 Count Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole piece, but I loved the house and those deer and the flowers. I don't think my piece is big enough to do the whole thing, and that's fine because this has so many beautiful motifs that I can just pull out and do. I even thought about doing this into like a drum, so we'll see. But another piece that, let's see, I think I started that in 24 and I might have picked it up in 25. I can't remember. Okay. Oh, and this bag that it was in is by Angie, the Tiny House Stitcher. Okay. This is not really a WIP. I'm sure many of you would say, oh, that's not a WIP, but it is a WIP in that I have not finished them, but I have done one of Annie B's Spring Green Pears. And this is on 36 Count Agave Linen by Zweigart, and I'm using the Dinky Dye Silk Pearl. And as you can see, I have no stitching. I did this one right here and gifted it to my aunt who loves green. And then now I want to do all three for me. But yeah, I've not gotten very far. This is on a piece of, I'm sorry, this bag. Okay. I made notes, so if you see me looking down, that's why. My next piece is Live on Little by Plum Street. I love this when it first came out, but it was so big, and I was like, I just don't think I could do it. But then my mom and my daughter and I went on an East Coast cruise in 2024, and I just thought this would be a good commemoration of that trip. So I did stitch on it while I was on the cruise. This is on 36 Count Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And I love the colors. I love a house. You will see, I love houses. I love stitching houses. I love fill-in. I'm just weird that way. So I have big projects, but then I've also done a lot of little projects, so it all adds up. Okay, Christmas Angel Ornaments by Birds of a Feather. I am stitching this on 40 Count Piccadilly White by Legacy Linen, and I have this pathetic start to show you. Using the called for floss, I got this from Sheri Berger of, is it Berger or Berger? I'm sorry, Colorado Cross Stitcher. But then I was gifted the whole set stitched. If you go to my Instagram page, you will see that done by a fellow stitcher who sent me those ornaments. I was overwhelmed by such a generous gift, and it just touched me to my core that she had made those and finished them beautifully and sent them to me. My Instagram is Lisa BE66. And this is a bag I made. Don't look too closely. Yes, my fabric is oriented wrong. But I like to dabble in sewing. I'm not good at it. I always make mistakes. I make mistakes in everything. All these are, on my cross stitch, I specifically put a little something of myself into them, and that is noted by the mistakes that I make. So my next WIP is Chocolate Hearts by Plum Street Samplers. And again, I'm using a Katie Strachan silk conversion kit. A little start. This is on 38 count Fuller's Teasel. And the reason why I fell in love with this chart was it reminds me so much of my grandparents. My grandfather was a deer hunter, and I don't know, I think it's the colors. This is the Day by Plum Street also reminded me of my grandparents. And again, if I make another one of these, I might tell you about that at another time. Okay, another Plum Street. Nelson. I am stitching this on 38 count Wayfarer's Cloak by Legacy Linen, small start. I think I just love the colors in this. And it is a patriotic stitch, which I also love. And that's housed in this bag using Lori Holt fabric. I thought this was a Dot Dot Goose design, but it doesn't have her logo that's usually up there, so it could be a Sheri So Sweet bag. And then I'm gonna skip this one for now. The next one I have is A Daily Reminder by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I had actually started this on the Called For Linen, which is a Boreal by Cedar River. I actually had purchased, when she first came out with her linen, I had purchased several different pieces, and I got the 18 count Ada Arboreal. And then when this came out and it called for that linen, I thought, perfect. But when I started stitching on it, I didn't care for it. I'm not sure if it was the color. I just wasn't feeling it. So I restarted it on 40 count Cypress by Fiber on a Whim. And this is my tiny start again. So that is housed in this fabric. I shouldn't be talking behind these, I'm sorry. This fabric is Cathy Holden, and this is a Sheri So Sweet bag. I love this fabric. I have a blue one in there. Did I show that? Or maybe I didn't, I'm sorry. I have a blue one. Okay, so in here, this project bag, I can't remember the name. Ooh, I'm sorry. I have a couple of WIPs. Grand Old Flag by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, stitched on the Called For Creme Brulee. I've done the flag in the middle. Then I finished this one, which I believe is, I don't remember which one this is. The pattern is called Grand Old Flag 2. Sorry, I'm losing control here. So I have one more to stitch. And love that. I got that kit from Finally a Farm Girl. Not Finally a Farm Girl. Farm Girl Dry Goods. Sorry. Whew, I'm starting to lose it. And then also in here, I have Liberty by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. And I'm stitching this on the Called For Linen and Floss. And I have a little start here. for here. Am I showing it backwards? No. Here. I have lots of patriotic. I am not doing any big patriotic stitch this year. I have a lot of patriotic to work on, so I'm just gonna work on those. I know it's a big year for our country and I'm excited about it, but I know that Paulette of, forgive me people if I mess up your name, Paulette of Plum Street Samplers did a beautiful sampler for the Attic Summer School in August of 2025, and I love it. Obviously it's not out. Rumor is that it probably will come out this year, but I probably won't pick it up this year, but I would love to do it at some time in the future. Okay, next on the docket is actually more patriotic. So I was watching Jessica of Sweetwater Stitcher one day, and she just flashed this chart that she had purchased. She hadn't started it. She just showed the chart, and I was enabled, and I went and got it immediately. This is Jessie and Me, Flag of Glory needle book. I have it written down right here. I will make it into a needle book. And this is my start. This is on 37 count corkscrew willow linen by Legacy. Okay, so you will hear me say Legacy a lot. I've stitched on a lot of different fabrics, but Katie Strachan, it is her, I blame her for my love of Legacy, and I just love stitching on Legacy linen, especially if you're using silk. It's a win-win situation. But this is the needle book. I love that flag. I had so much fun stitching the flag. Every stripe is a different type of stitch. And at first I wasn't gonna do that. I was just gonna use regular cross stitch. I was just gonna cross stitch. And then I started doing them and it was so much fun. So I'm glad I did. And then this is, oh my gosh, you know, the struggle is real when they say I have piles. Red, White, and Bloom Quilt by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Again, this is going to be on 37 count corkscrew willow by Legacy. Here is my start. Those girls at Primrose are so generous how they give us free patterns. It boggles my mind. They are truly a blessing to our community. So that is Red, White, and Blue Quilt. And that is housed, I have many more patriotic projects in here that are basically kitted up. This is a Lori Holt bag. I believe I got it from Fat Quarter Shop. I bought the flag, and then my aunt, who is very crafty, made this cute little cherry charm, and I love it. So that is that. Oh my gosh, I'm moving to the floor. Okay. Witches Training Academy. This is by Cathy Barrick. And I started this in September, stitching this on 36 count Seaweed by Fox and Rabbit. Oh my gosh, look at her. Look at her. She's just so cute. I love her. I love Halloween stitching. I really do. But I'm also a seasonal stitcher. I realized that about myself. It's hard for me to stitch out of season, and that's why I struggle with Christmas and Christmas ornaments. But I will start stitching Halloween in like July, August. But yeah, she's a beaut. So, and this bag was gifted to me, and so I don't know the maker, but it is beautiful. And I have another project in there that I have not started. It's actually a restart. I don't do a lot of restarts, but I obviously have a couple. Okay, Butternut Pancake House by Stacy Nash. I am a devout follower of Stacy Nash, although I don't have any current WIPs. No, I have another current WIP. Sorry, I have another current WIP. This is stitched on just 40 count Mocha by Zweigert using the Called For Floss of DMC. I just started that in 2025. So just got a start in. I just wanted to get it going. This bag is my friend Donna White, Police Mom 1 on Instagram. She was doing a little de-stash of her bags, and because I love cats, I have cats, I chose this bag, and it's got other animal crackers in there, ready to be done or worked on. A Gingerbread Man Sewing Book by Stacy Nash Designs. I have the PDF because I bought the PDF and I didn't print the cover page, so I'll have page insert a picture of the cover page. But this is stitched on 36 count Hot Cocoa by Blackberry Primitives. And this was part of the Jingle Ball of 2024. Obviously, I did not finish this before the Jingle Ball, but I'm not gonna do a sewing book. I'm gonna make him more of a animal cracker. I love him. I did the house last year for Jingle Ball. It's over there. Love the colors. There's mistakes. I finished them, their outline, and then realized that I'm a couple of counts off, but I'm moving forward, as Jean Lee of the Attic said. So, and then this is the bonus chart. It was a bonus chart last year for us, and then it was the free chart this year on the House 30, and I just got a small start on that. But I'll just go back to Jean Lee of the Attic. I've never been to the Attic. I've been to, I was able to go to several cross-stitch retreats in 2022. And at the Quilters Station retreat, I had the pleasure of meeting Jean Lee. And like many people on FLOSSTUBE have said, she is the type of person that makes you feel like you're the most important person in the room when she's talking to you. And so my brief time stitching with her at the table in the hotel that we were all staying at was a true blessing. And I will never forget it, and I will never forget how she made me feel. There's a quote by Maya Angelou that I will not repeat. Maybe I'll have Paige put it here. That says a lot. And my only regret is that I didn't get to go visit her at the Attic. Okay, my next WIP is Christmas Swan by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. I started this in 2025. This is my start. I was so intimidated by these swans. I'm not sure what it was about them, But I tell you what, I've done the spring, the summer, the fall, and now the winter, the Christmas one, and I love doing them. I get in such a rhythm, and it just amazes me that I was so intimidated with it. That's just like Plum Street's This Is the Day. I was intimidated by that brick house, but then once I started working on it, I absolutely fell in love with it, and couldn't stop. So I don't know what that says about me, but there you have it. So some other WIPs that aren't really WIPs because I don't have any stitches in most of these, but they're WIPs in that I haven't done them all, are Red, White, and Bloom with Brenda Gervais. I've only done one of these, sadly. I need to do all of them because when I go to friends' houses and they have them all done and all together, I'm completely green with envy. And all I have to do is stitch them. So I have this one done and I need to do the rest. I'm not a fan of Uncle Sam. I have found that Uncle Sam can be a little creepy, but her Uncle Sam is cute. So I will be stitching him. Again, Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, Jelly Bean Jubilee. I have these three stitched, and I stitched this one and gifted it to my mom. So I've got this one to stitch, and I just need to finish them. I just need to finish them. I mean, I want them all finished. Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I did pull this out in 2025 and got started on Halloween delivery. I have my pieces cut for the others. I'm not sure why I'm dragging my heels. So that's my WIPs for right now. I have lots of kitted projects. And if, I keep saying this, but if I decide that this is worthy of another floss tube, maybe I can do a little kitted project parade. I've been trying to get some finishing done. Like I said, I was working on my 12 Days of Christmas. I have my trees, hands-on design, the tree lot. Again, love this pattern, but decided black wasn't gonna fit with my decor, so I changed it up. And I got that one completed last night. Well, not completed, not FFO'd. And this one, they're not backed yet. And then I did Oh Christmas 3 by Hands On Design, Cathy Haberman. I've just done one. I changed the colors. It's probably, and then I have the back for that, but I need to make my cording, so that's why I'm holding off on that for right now. If you ever have a chance to take a class by Cathy Haberman of Hands On Design, do it. You learn so much. And her classes, she gives you step-by-step instruction, pictures, everything. It's really worth it to do that. Okay. So we'll go into plans. This is my journal. In my journals, I write down pretty much everything I stitch on every day, or if I don't stitch. Now, when I was working, I worked 12-hour days, and so I would not stitch on those days. There was just no way. My brain was fried by the end of the day. So, and I would sticker them up, but this book, the days, the boxes for days are really small, so I don't know if I'm going to sticker this one up. Plus the motif she has in here of the sampler, and I don't want to cover that up, but I'll write down what I start, what I finish for that month, and what I'm working on daily. But also in here, and I briefly mentioned it earlier, I'm going to attempt to do Christmas WIP Go 2026. Was started by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. You can find her on YouTube, Instagram, and probably Facebook. I am not on Facebook, so I'm assuming that she's there too, but you know what happens when you assume. So anywho, if you do not know about WIP Co, you want to learn about WIP Co, I suggest you go to her YouTube channel, and there she explains WIP Go. The premise being that you work on your WIPs throughout the year to get accomplishment done on them. And there's many different ways to do it. And Nicole Spohr of Nicole Spohr on Instagram and YouTube, probably Facebook, and NicoleSpohr.com. She's doing a Christmas WIP Go 2026. And I have decided to partake in that. Now, I'm not good. I don't make New Year's resolutions. I don't plan. I don't set goals because I drop them like a hot potato. But I'm thinking maybe if I'm really loosey-goosey about this, maybe I can get some stuff done. So it's like a WIP, it's like a bingo board, and you put on here what you want to work on. Now, people can get really specific. They can say, I'm going to work on this for 2 to 3 days, a week. I'm going to do a finish. I'm being really loosey-goosey about this. So on Jessie Marie's YouTube, the numbers that she pulled for January, and she usually pulls the numbers a few days before the next month, if I'm understanding correctly. She pulled for January numbers 2 and 7. So for me, 2 is 12 days of Christmas. So I will be stitching an ornament, and for me, when I say stitch an ornament, it could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be till finished. So I'm just going with the flow. And then my next one is Santa Stop Here. I've been working on Santa Stop Here this whole past December, off and on. So I'm hoping to get some more good stitching in on him. That said, maybe you can keep me accountable for doing WIP Go Christmas 2026. I do want to finish Rejoice Evermore. That will be a soft goal of mine. And usually I like to do a lot of the winter projects. You could call them Christmas, winter, but there's some projects that I want to work on. But plus I also will probably be dabbling into some Easter, spring. I did that last year. I started one of my Easter projects in January because I had a lot I wanted to do, and that seemed to work well for me. So I'll probably do that again. So that's really it on my goals. As far as haul, you're not going to see any haul today because I don't have any haul. And I'm doing something a little different. A few months ago, I decided to make 2026 a no buy cross stitch year. Yes, I'm not gonna buy any cross stitch patterns, fabric, or floss in 2026. There are some caveats there. If I absolutely don't have anything in my stash for floss, I'll get the DMC equivalent. Most of my fabric that I have is neutral colors, so I should be able to find something. I don't have a huge stash, but I feel like I have enough stash that I can use it. The first retreat that I ever went to was a Stitching with the Housewives retreat in Indiana, and we drove down to Keepsakes, and it was the first time I had ever been in a cross stitch store, and I was overwhelmed and flying by the seat of my pants, and I was buying fat halves of fabric. So I still have fabric from that. So I need to start using them up. What happens is I start going through everything like I did today, and I start getting overwhelmed. And then I'm like, I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna finish this. Then I get in this vicious cycle, and then the next thing you know, some shiny object comes glittering by, and I'm buying more. And so for me, I just want to take a pause and work on what I have. And I'm not a person that necessarily, you know, does a word of the year or, you know, focuses on a word of the year. But I think my word, if I was going to do that, would be enough. I have enough. And I can be satisfied with enough. So that's my plan. Maybe you can hold me accountable to it. When Needlework Marketplace pops up in March, I will probably be jonesing. I will be white knuckling it. And I know designers are gonna probably come out with lots of patriotic stitching for our 250th. I remember 1976, we had a huge 4th of July party at my house. I was 9 years old, and I think we had like 200 people in our house, in and out of our house throughout the day. And we barbecued and made homemade ice cream, and it was so fun. The best memories. So I know this is a big year for us as a country, and I want to stitch all the patriotic things, but I'm not going to buy all the patriotic things. The other thing is Jingle Ball. So I like to shop Jingle Ball. I really like to shop Jingle Ball. So, but Jingle Ball falls, or the last couple of years, it fell on my birthday. So we can do a little, you know, birthday gift situation, and I can buy in December for Jingle Ball. Plus Jingle Ball is exclusive, so, you know, that's a little different in my mind. So we have that. I did do Jingle Ball. It ends up being a crazy weekend. I try to stay in my pajamas all weekend and stitch, but inevitably it ends up being a crazy weekend for whatever reason. And so I only went into one stitchy room on that Friday night, and I met some lovely people. And I met Amy from The Disobedient Housewife here on YouTube, and I just got confirmation the other day that I can fly up there and she can cut my hair. She's willing to do it. I probably won't fly up there, but in my dreams, I'd like to fly up there because I think she's cool and she's funny. I like her sense of humor. And it wouldn't be that awkward small talk when somebody is doing your hair. I was very fortunate to have my aunt do my hair for many years. She's a hair designer and cosmetologist, hairdresser, whatever you want to call them nowadays. I don't know. Sorry, Amy. And so I didn't have to go to different people. And now I'm going to different people and it's been rough. It's been really rough. So if I had the ability to fly up north and have Amy cut my hair, I would do it. I would do it. We could talk stitching. Maybe I could meet Bon. I'd love to meet Bon. So anyways, those are my plans. I mentioned Amy of the Disobedient Housewife. There are many YouTube, FLOSSTUBE creators that I watch. I watch a lot of different ones and I enjoy all of them. Some of them also do paper crafting, which, yeah, I was watching Maggie on the Ridge YouTube, and she was doing her December daily, and I almost went and bought a December daily kit. I don't need to be doing stuff like that. So yeah, I just need to stay in my lane and do what I'm doing right now. And that is continuing to cross stitch, doing a little bit of sewing. I am doing some crocheting. I haven't done that in a while. I'll pick that up. I am doing a Battenberg crochet quilt that I was enabled by Liz of Elizabeth Can Stitch on YouTube and Instagram. I have to make 300 and some odd 2x2 squares. I'm getting close though. I'm getting close. So anyways, I don't want to keep you any longer, and I just want you to have a blessed New Year's, and I hope to see you soon. This might be one and done. I don't know, but I will leave you with the goodbye that I leave my daughter with every time I drop her off at school. Have a blessed day, make good choices, and I love you. Bye for now.